Hey, how's it going? Joe here. So just going to do a super quick audit of one of the members of the Six Figure Academy's cold call script. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Joe. I own two seven-figure marketing agencies, and what I've decided to do is create a Discord group, totally free for the time being, that allows beginner entrepreneurs, people like starting their own agency in e-commerce, learn the needed online skills to start and scale their own six-figure business, and then potentially scale that to a seven-figure business like I've done. Sorry for the kind of low production value on this video. I'm traveling at the moment, but one of the members of the group, which if you're not familiar, Six Figure Student Academy, the link will be somewhere around this video. Click it. Has asked me to review their cold call script, and to be honest, there's a lot of improvement needed here. It's a somewhat decent start, but wanted to kind of create this video to break down exactly why I think it could be better, what I would change from experience of doing probably thousands of cold calls at this point. So there's notes here at the bottom. I will give access to this full page as well. But yeah, just to go through it, this is the original script the guy was using. He'd been doing 100 cold calls a day for 3 weeks, not getting any results, which is it's just not acceptable. Wasting a lot of your time. It's not working. You shouldn't have ever got that far without trying to change something. You need to be booking at least 1 or 2 calls per day with 100 calls per day. Definitely 1 or 2 calls per day minimum. So first off, getting past the gatekeeper. This is a part that a lot of people get worried about and they fall at the first hurdle. It's not too bad, to be honest. Good morning, afternoon. Could you please put me onto the owner's name? It's not bad. I would probably make this a little bit more casual, a bit more direct. Instead of just saying like, good morning, good afternoon, it's quite, people probably going to think it's a sales call. I would just be like, hey, is John there? Or, hey, can I speak to John, please? Just completely direct to the point. Don't say the surname. Don't say Mr. Marston or whatever. Get straight to the point. And then if you get asked what's it regarding, we've got a few different options here of what they would say. So again, it's just a little bit too formal. It's obviously going to be a sales call. And what I've said here is, you want to try and have a bit of a better opener than just trying to say, it's Shazil speaking from Survey Inc. You should be familiar with us. It's obviously going to be someone that's trying to sell you something, and I've got a little bit of a better option here that is even more directly trying to sell something, but it catches people off guard. A lot of the time they find it funny and it works really well. So going back to the beginning, what I would say is, hey, can I speak to John, please? Let's just say they ask, what was it regarding? You just say, look, I'll be completely honest with you. It's a cold call, but if you give me 30 seconds of your time, I promise you'll get some value from it. And if not, you can hang up. How does that sound? Or if you put me on to John, give me 30 seconds of his time, blah, blah, blah. Just try and be open with people. A lot of the time they will laugh. There's other variations you can do with that. Let's say John answers straight away. Hey, is this John? Yeah, speaking. Hey, John. Now, if I said this was a cold call, would you hang up or would you give me 30 seconds for me to prove to you that it's going to be worth your time listening to me? And a lot of the time you will get a laugh. You will get people hanging up. But if you do 100 calls, I reckon out of, compared to people hanging up and compared to people laughing and enjoying that, I actually think it's funny and giving you 30 seconds, you'll be surprised at the results. If the gatekeeper refuses, not a problem. Is there a better time for me to call back? This isn't a good way to approach this. I would instead always suggest a time. So no problem. That's totally fine. I understand he's really busy. Has he got time this afternoon, about 2 o'clock? I'll give a call then. Always suggest a time. Otherwise, it leaves them open to just saying something like, no, there's not a better time, or can you leave an email? That kind of stuff. Always give them a choice and give them an option. Never ask if they could leave you a message because it's just never going to get passed on or it'll be ignored. Always get a time to call back. Always say potentially something like, okay, no problem. Is John available at a more specific time tomorrow? Or when's John best available? This is, he's going to want to speak to me. Make it seem as if you know John. If John knows you, you're a friend. If somebody, is trying to pick you up and that, just say, oh, don't worry. John's expecting a call. Slightly, maybe unethical, but it works. What else? So yeah, never ask if they have a minute. So here, when it gets on to, let's say the owner's on the line, hey, Shazil, do you have a minute? it just gives them the option to just say no. And sometimes welcoming the no is okay, but not at this point. You need to have at least expressed, you need to at least have shown why they should be listening to you. So I would just, go straight in with that. If I told you it's a cold call, if I told you it's a sales call, try and be a bit cheeky with it. I've even tried something like, now I'm actually going to try and sell you something on this call, but I'm only going to try and sell you it because I know that it will provide a massive benefit to you. Do you want to hear what it is, or do you want to hang up now? So yeah, just try and be straight to the point and catch them off guard. Ask, basically, if you think that your script or it sounds like other people's or it's too generic, it's going to blend in. It's never going to stand out. People are going to just hang up. So don't kind of ask if they have a minute. Leave it open. Don't leave it open for them just to hang up straight away. So if they say no, again here, this is kind of too much of a commitment. You're asking people to give you 10 minutes and they don't even know why you're calling. That's way too much of a commitment. What I would say is, let's say they did say, you did say this and they said no. You want to work around that by trying to reschedule a time for this call. So just say, no problem. Have you got 2 minutes this afternoon, 2 o'clock? I'll give you another call then. And then they might say, yeah, sure, no problem. You hang up, all right? Just call them back then. They're busy at that point. You don't want to annoy them. If they do then ask you, what's it about? That's when you need to get onto your big promise, your big offer, which is this point here, which to me is very vague. It's not direct enough, and it's going to lead to them not being interested. So this point here, reason for the call today is I own a digital marketing agency. Nobody cares about you, all right? Nobody cares about your agency. People care what your agency can do. People want the solution. So there's a good analogy. People don't want a hole in their wall. People don't want the screw. People don't want the drill. People don't want the shelf. People don't even want the book that you put on the shelf. People want the information from the book and the value that you get from that information. So stop trying to focus on the method, what it is, who you are, what you do. Focus on what you solve, what you provide. So instead of I own a digital marketing agency, my bad, just had to move rooms. So yeah, never try and say what you do, how you do it. You're selling and you're saying what you actually provide, the solution. So instead of I own a digital marketing agency, what I would instead say is I help, and then the brand, the kind of companies reach out. So I think this guy was roofing or something like that. I help roofers book 30 qualified appointments a month guaranteed. It's very to the point. It's a big promise. It's going to catch your attention. It's specific to them. You don't need to say I own a digital marketing agency. I do this. Just say what you solve. What's the solution that you provide to them that they care about. All right. It doesn't matter if it's your marketing agency. They just want to know exactly what you can actually do for them. Again, this highly motivated customers is too vague. It's a bit fluffy. Where is it for you? And also reference a company if you can at this point. So I would change this to I help roofing companies such as, name a company, name a client if you can. If you don't have a case study, that's fine. But if you can, name drop at that point. So we say something like, we help ecom brands like the Audit generate a 4x return ad spend with their TikTok ads consistently, guaranteed. And then they're going to be like, oh shit, I know that company. That's really good. That's a good return. That's what I want, blah, blah, blah. So name drop a company if you can. If not, just reference the result that you can get them. And again here, try not to make it too fluffy. So instead of highly motivated customers, which is like, that's not very tangible. People need to know what that is. You want to instead say something like, we bring you 20 new clients per month guaranteed. Always try and have a little guaranteed in there if you can. And then just after that, be quite blunt and say, now, I just want to check before I go any further, 20 customers a month. Is that something you can actually handle right now? Is it something that you'd want? Because sometimes people just won't want it. But also, that allows them to agree that they want your service, which is a really, really powerful tool later on. So they say yes, and then you explain how you have a system to do this. You say, perfect, well, I have a system that can do exactly that, but I assume you're really busy. I need to kind of show you the system on a call situation or in a meeting ideally. Can we book in another call can we book in a video call, sorry, and I can run you through this, or a meeting if you can. There's another area you kind of mess up with here. Don't ask if you can get their number. Basically, 90% of selling is body language and facial expressions. So you need to get as close to in person as possible, if not in person. So that is video calls, Zoom calls, Google Meets. So always try and get a video call booked in. You need to have some sort of visual presentation to show people. Very, very last resort, you do a call, but even on this, you spend most of your time just trying to push them to a video call or an in-person meeting if you can. You have to think, if you have to travel, even anywhere in the UK, for me, if I wanted to go to London back in the day when I started my agency, it was like £100 train, but I'm off to London to sign a client that could be paying me $2 or $3 grand a month. It's worth the trip, right? Try and get an in-person meeting. It shows confidence. It shows, actual ambition and willingness to go and meet them. So try and do stuff in person if you can. But yeah, so explain you have the system and be quite vague, mysterious about it. Don't just say, I actually can do this for Facebook ads, because people have had bad experiences with that. They don't want to try again. Just say, I actually developed a system that can book you 20 qualified meetings every single month, guaranteed. Now, it's going to be too long and too hard to explain on this call, but I can show you on a video call or in person. Can we book in 20 minutes next week? I'm free at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Does that work for you? So that leads on to the second point. So the next point, give them no longer a week to book this meeting in, because otherwise stuff comes up, people forget about it, you want to strike while the iron is hot. Don't ask when they're free, which you kind of said here. When's best? I'm sure you're very busy, because that's like saying how long's a piece of string. You want to say, I'm super busy, got loads of meetings in next week, but I've actually got a slot around 2 o'clock on Monday. How does that sound? Just give them a time, and if it doesn't work for them, just say, okay, no problem, what about 3 o'clock on Wednesday? Kind of trapping them to agree to a time. And then after that, I've kind of gone through that. Important point here. If you can, and if they can, try and do it there and then, because you're on the phone. They've just said they want to work with you. Sorry, they've just said they want your service. If you can instead say, all right, perfect. Well, you know what? I can move something around and I can actually fit this in my schedule now or in 10, 15 minutes. How's that? Get them on the call, get them on the video, try and go meet them that day if you can. I've called someone in the morning. They've said they want to find out more, and I've met them in the afternoon. You've got to take this shit seriously. Cool. So then confirm the event on the call, get them to knowledge. So you say, all right, perfect. What's your best email? I'll send that over to you now. Send over an email event, send over a link, get them to accept the event on the call, make sure it's come through, make sure they have the accountability and they've actually agreed to it and it's on the calendar. And you say, all right, perfect. I'll send you a few reminders ahead of time as well. If you need to reschedule, no problem. Just let me know ahead of time. I'm super, super busy. So if you end up needing to reschedule, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to fit you in, make it as minimal chance as possible that they'll reschedule. Then send over an info in the meantime. Again, if it's too long, they're going to forget why you called. They're going to forget why they were interested. So send over an email saying like, thanks for your call today, John. Really love speaking to you. I actually put this quick video together for you that actually explained why I think you're not doing as well as you could do, and a bit of information around why I can help. Don't go into pricing, just something that shows you've added extra value and maybe an audit of their current situation. And then make sure they remember your name. You say, just want to say something like, all right, John, see you next week, Tuesday. The name's Joe, by the way. I'll send over that invite again and send over some reminders. Have a nice day. And that's pretty much it. So there's a lot of stuff you can change here. I think the biggest thing to change is that opener. Really, really important, making sure you're grabbing people's attention and kind of catch them off guard. But yeah, hopefully this helped. If you aren't in the group, join the group. Going to be tons of things happening in there over the next few months. We're going to get this group to 10,000 entrepreneurs over the next year. That's my goal. So much value being shared in there right now. I've got one-to-one mentoring spaces opening up next month. If you're interested, you need to apply now because I only work with 2 or 3 people at once. If you're interested in any help, join the group. The group is free for the time being. Thanks very much.